Hello friends, I am Dr. Ashish Agrawat. Welcome to my channel Live Biochemistry. In this video, I am going to talk about the acid-base balance. So acid-base balance, I will take this series in the three parts. In this part, I will be talking about the general concept like what is acid, what is base, what is pH, what are the strong acid, what are the strong base, what is Hasselbalch, Anderson equation, okay, or which are the different mechanism like what is the first defense, second mechanism, third defense mechanism. Like first defense mechanism is blood, second mechanism is respiratory, third defense mechanism is by the kidney. Okay, and what is the respiratory regulation and renal regulation of blood? That I will be taking in this lecture. In the next lecture, I will be talking about the causes of respiratory acidosis, respiratory alkalosis, metabolic acidosis, metabolic alkalosis, and anion gap. And in third, I will be discussing about the different case scenario. It will be very helpful video to you, and your all the concept will be clear. So stay tuned and watch this video till the end. And if you are new to this channel, please subscribe to my channel. So now I am sharing the screen with you. Right. So acid-base balance. So what are the acids? Okay, and what is the base? First, that basic concept we will see. So acids are the substance which will donate hydrogen ion. Okay, like example, hydrochloric acid. So they will donate the hydrogen ion. So they are called as the acid. Okay, they or donate, or you can say donate or release hydrogen ions. That are called as the acids. Now, what are the base? These are the substance that will accept the hydrogen, okay, or they can release the hydroxyl ion, okay. So like bicarbonate, okay, so they will accept the H plus ion and convert it to conjugate acid, okay. So this is called as the base, okay. Or also you can say NaOH, they will form the Na and OH, so they will form either OH, okay, release the OH, that's why they are called base. Now something called as a strong acid or weak acid. So strong acid, okay, they are completely ionized, they are called as a strong acid, and substance like carbonic acid, H2CO3, they are not completely ionized, that's why they are called as a weak acid. Same way for the base also, NaOH is called as a strong base, okay, because it is completely hydrolyzed to Na and OH. Okay, so this is the concept of acid and base, right? So if acid, they are capable of donating protons, while base, they are capable of accepting the proton. Like ammonia plus H plus, they will accept the H plus. So this is called as the base, right? Or bicarbonate, they will accept the H plus and form the carbonic acid. So they are called as the this SU3 and H3, they are called as the base. Okay, and hydrochloric acid H2CO3, they will donate the proton. That's why they are called as acids. Okay. And HCl, they are completely ionized, so they are strong acid. H2CO3, weak acids. Right. Now, what is dissociation constants? So if we see in this reaction, Ha is converted to H plus and A minus. So dissociation constant is Ka is equal to H plus ion concentration into, okay, cation concentration, anion concentration divided by this acids. Okay, and if you want to make this as a H plus equal to Ka into Ha upon A minus, right? Or you can also say that Ka equal to acid upon base. Okay. Now, as strong acids are completely ionized, right? So there is something called the pKa value. So what is pKa value? It is a pKa value, a constant at which there is pH at which half of the molecule are ionized and half of the molecule are not ionized. Okay, so there is called pKa value. So because strong acid are completely ionized, they have a low pKa value, and weak acid have a high pKa value. So if we see this, and now we are coming to the pH concept. So pH is equal to negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration. So here H plus equal to Ka, okay, ionic constant into acid upon base, and pH is equal to negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration. Okay, so if we write here, what is pH is equal to negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration, and what is hydrogen ion concentration is equal to Ka into acid upon base. Okay, this is acid, this is base. So if we want to write here, this will be log Ka, okay, acid upon minus, right? And if we want to make it reverse, then what we can write, this negative logarithm of pKa, okay, here negative logarithm of pKa is equal to negative logarithm is pKa, right? And here this is minus. So if we want to add as a, this will come as a first. So if we add log of base upon acid, it is called Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. P is equal to pK log base to acid, okay, or salt divided by the acid. So when the concentration of the base and acid are the same, then pH is equal to pK. If this is same, this is log 1, and if we know log 1 is 0, then pH will be equal to pKa.
So now buffer are the solutions. Buffer are the solutions which resist change in the pH when acid or alkali is added. So buffer will resist change in the pH. So this buffer could be of two types. One is mixture of weak acid with their salt with the strong base, or the mixture of weak base with their salt with a strong acid. So example is bicarbonate buffer, acetate buffer, and phosphate buffer. So how do this buffer act? So when base is added, like sodium hydroxide, when this NaOH is added to the solution, then suppose it is the acetate buffer. So when base is added, then this acidic component will work, right? And when HCl is added, then this, when so acid is added, so the base portion will work. Okay, so you can see when NaOH is added, okay, then what will happen? So NaOH is a hydroxide, it is a base. So when base is added, it will release more H plus ion to compensate. So when base is added, this acidic portion will work. So CH3COOH is converted to H plus and CH3COO minus. This H plus will bind with the OH and it will form the H2O, right? So when base is added, so CH3 plus COO, okay, so this CH3COOH is converted to H plus and CH3COO minus. This H plus ion will bind with the OH and it will form H2O, while this CH3COO bind with the Na to form CH3COO Na, right? And when acids are added in the solution, then this basic portion will work and CH3CO Na will be converted to Na plus and CH3COO minus. This CH3COO minus will bind with the H plus and form the CH3COOH. So when acid is added, okay, the binding with the extra H plus, okay, buffers will be able to resist pain by binding with the extra H plus added. So this H plus is added and to that CH3COO will bind. Okay, so here CH3COO Na will be converted to CH3COO minus and Na plus, and to this CH3COO minus H plus will bind and it forms CH3COOH plus NaCl. This is how buffer works.
Now, what is the normal pH? It is around 7.4. Average of H plus ion concentration of 14 mol per liter. It ranges from 7.38 to 7.42. pH of the intestinal fluid is generally 0.5 units below the blood. Now, if your pH is less than 7.38, now this is very important. If pH is less than 7.38, it is called as acidosis. Life is threatened when pH is lower than 7.25. So that's why this regulation is very important, because when pH is less, pH is changed. That means H plus concentration will be more, and it will neutralize your amino acid and protein charge. So enzymes will be changed, so your protein will not work, and ultimately you will die. Acidosis leads to CNS depression and coma. Okay, death occurs below the pH of 7.0. If you find result like 6.9 pH, then person probably he died. Okay, and alkalosis, when pH is more than 7.42, it is dangerous when it is increased to more than 7.55. Like if less than 7.0 is very life-threatening, more than pH 7.55 is also dangerous. So our pH, body pH is finely regulated. Okay, because alkalosis, what it do? It induces the neuromuscular hyperexcitability and tetany. Death occur above the pH of 7.6. So our body regulates the pH very well. So what is the first line defense? Is blood buffer. Second line defense is respiratory regulation. Okay, by the lung. And third is by the renal regulation, by the kidney. Okay, so we will see one by one about everything. So first line of defense is by the blood buffer, and it is immediate. Okay, so first line of defense is against the acid load. So whenever there is the acid is increased, then this buffer system of the blood will work. It will work immediately, but what is the disadvantage of this? It will last only for the few minutes. Okay, it will immediately combine with the acid or base to prevent the excessive changes in the hydrogen ion concentration. When there is a change in the hydrogen ion concentration, buffer system of the body react within the fraction of second to minimize these changes. However, this buffer system do not eliminate this hydrogen ion from the body and or add them to the body, but only keep them tied up until this balance is re-established. Okay, so it lasts only for a few minutes and just hold these acids. Okay, so which are the major buffer? So most important is this bicarbonate buffer, which consists of this NaCO3 and H2CO3. In the erythrocyte, because of the intracellular potassium, it forms the KHCO3 and H2CO3. Then this is bicarbonate. Okay, we will see in detail about that also. What is the specialty? It is a major extracellular fluid. In extracellular fluid, major buffer system is bicarbonate. It is very efficient because this carbonic, this ratio is 24, and the bicarbonate level is 24, and carbonic acid level is 1.2. The ratio is 20 raised to 1. Okay, it is very effective buffer whenever against any acids. Okay, phosphate is a major intracellular buffer. Major intracellular buffer. It is consists of Na2HPO4 and NaH2PO. Because you can see here, this NaH2 has the acid. It can donate the acid, right? So that's why it can donate the H plus ion, okay, to form NaHPO4. That's why it is called as the acid. Okay, and here it is base. Okay, it will take up the H. Now this protein, major protein buffer is like albumin or hemoglobin. Okay, we will see in detail about that. So what is bicarbonate? This is based upon acid. So HCO3 upon H2CO3. It is the most important extracellular buffer. Remember this. So whenever strong acid, so HCl is added, what it will do? It will bind with the H plus. Okay. So this bicarbonate will bind with the H plus. What is the we have seen in the buffering capacity? Whenever acid is added, it will bind with the hydrogen ion concentration, and whenever this base is added, it will release the H plus ion. Okay, so we will see. So when H plus is added, it will bind with the HCO3 and it will form H2CO3, carbonic acid, and it will be converted to H2O and CO2 by the carbonic anhydrous enzyme, and CO2 will be eliminated by the lung. Right. So simulation center is respiratory center is simulated and will be released. When strong base like NaOH is added, so what it will do? Okay, so when this NaOH strong base is there, then this H2CO3 portion will come, right? The acid portion, and here it will release the hydrogen ion. Okay, so hydrogen ion will be released and it will bind with the OH and it will form H2O, and itself it is converted to NaSCO3. So NaSCO3 replaces the strong base of the NaOH. At the same time, concentration of H2CO3 decreases because it will react with the NaOH, causing more CO2. Right. So this is how our this first bicarbonate copper works. Major, most important, 20⁻1 is the proportion. So the net result here, what will be happen? The decreased CO2 in the blood, okay, it will inhibit respiration and there will be decrease the rate of CO2 expiration, right? If there is a rise in the blood SCO3, it will be compensated by the increased renal excretion of the bicarbonate. So any non-volatile acid stronger than a carbonic acid can be buffered by the bicarbonate as long as bicarbonate is present. The plasma bicarbonate is a measure of the base that remains after all acids stronger than the carbonic and have been neutralized. Okay. It represents the reserve of the alkali, so it is represents the alkali reserve bicarbonate for the neutralization of strong acid. Okay, it is called as the alkali reserve. The bicarbonate level is the alkali reserve. All right. Now, what is the phosphate buffer? Okay, base upon acid. So it is not important as a blood buffer. It plays a major role in the buffering in the renal tubular fluid and in the intracellular. Not in the extracellular fluid, it is that much, but in the intracellular, it is very important. In the renal tubular, it is very important. It is important in the tubular fluid, okay, for the reason because phosphate is usually becomes concentrated in the tubule and thereby increasing the buffering power of the system. Right. Now coming to the protein buffer, okay. So as we have seen that in the hemoglobin or albumin act as a buffer. So protein contains large number of dissociable acidic group and basic in that structure, as we have already. This acidic solution act as a buffer in that basic amino group takes up the excess H plus forming NH3 plus. Okay. Whereas in basic solution, the acidic group give up hydrogen ion forming COO minus. Okay. So other important buffer group of the protein in the physiological pH are imidazole group of the histidine, which has a pK value of 6.1. Okay. So this is all about the blood buffer. So we have seen about the blood buffer. Name is bicarbonate buffer. Okay. The concentration is around 20:1. Is mainly in the extracellular fluid, most important. Then second was H2PO4 to H2PO4 phosphate buffer. It is around 4:1. It is major in the extracellular fluid. And third is the protein buffer, which is because of the albumin and hemoglobin, because of histidine group, mainly the histidine group, imidazole group. Okay, in histidine X as the buffering X. Right. Now coming to the respiratory regulation. So at the tissue level, what happens? There is a CO2 produced. Okay, during TCA cycle we have seen CO2 is produced. Okay, and it is converted to H2CO3. Now this H2CO3 is broken down to H plus and bicarbonate. This H plus, excess amount of H plus will displace the oxygen from the hemoglobin, okay, and it will bind with the hemoglobin to form HHB. Okay, while oxygen is removed and it is delivered to the tissue for the electron transport chain and formation of ATP. Okay. Now what will happen at the lung level? At the lung, where there is so much of oxygen is available. Okay. So what will happen here? will form HbO2 plus H plus. This H plus bind with the bicarbonate ion and form the H2CO3. And this H2CO3 will be broken down to CO2 and H2O, and this CO2 will be expired via the lung. So this is very important. Okay. And another important regarding this respect, so we have seen about blood regulation, phosphate buffer, bicarbonate buffer, and protein buffer. Now we are coming to the respiratory second line of mechanism. So whenever there is a pH is less, when there is an acidotic condition, then our body will try to increase the pH by decreasing H2CO3. Whenever there is a decrease in H2CO3, whenever there is a decrease in the CO2. Okay. So whenever there is a decrease in CO2 level, so when there is a hyperventilation. Okay, so excessive respiratory center will be stimulated and there will be hyperventilation. So in case of acidosis, there will be hyperventilation, so that then the CO2 will be decreased, so ultimately pH will be increased. Right? Okay. Same way, whenever there is a alkalosis, at that time what our body will do, that means pH is more. Okay, so to decrease the pH, what will happen? Respiratory central is depressed, so CO2 will be accumulated. Ultimately, it will form the carbonic acid. Okay, the solubility, what is this H2CO3? How normal PCO2 level is 40 millimeter per Hg, and solubility coefficient of CO2 is 0.03. It is around 1.2. Okay, milliequivalent per liter. So whenever the CO2 is more, then so much H2CO3 will be also increased, because okay, CO2 bind with the H2O and it will form H2CO3. So H2CO3 level increase, and as a Hazelbeck-Anderson equation, K equal to bicarbonate upon H2CO3. So if this level is increased, okay, then as it is denominator, okay, it will pH will be decreased. Okay, so this is how respiratory mechanism works. Now we come to the renal regulation of the blood pH. So there are four mechanisms. One is excretion of H plus ion. Okay, in the proximal convoluted tubule. Second mechanism is reabsorption of bicarbonate in the proximal convoluted tubule. Third, excretion of acid, okay, as a NaH2PO4. And fourth mechanism is excretion of NH4 plus. So we will see one by one how this regulates. So in the proximal convoluted tubule, this is a plasma, this is blood, okay, this is PCT and this is tubular lumen. So CO2 will bind with the H2O and it will form H2CO3 by the carbonic anhydrate. It will be broken down to bicarbonate and H plus. This bicarbonate is absorbed by the plasma. And this H plus will go to the tubular lumen in exchange of the sodium ion. So here this sodium, okay, it will be go to the plasma and ultimately it will form the sodium bicarbonate. Okay, and this H plus, it will be excreted in the urine. Right. This is one mechanism. Okay, for the excretion of hydrogen ion in the PCT. Okay, for the renal regulation. Then second is same CO2 plus H2O, it will form H2CO3, it will form bicarbonate plus. Here, there is a bicarbonate is directly filtered and we have to reabsorb. Okay, so in this mechanism, first mechanism, whenever there is an increased acidity, this will be excreted, right, in the urine by the kidney. The kidney will excrete the H plus ion whenever there is an acidosis. Okay, when acidity is increased, this H plus ion is excreted in the urine. Second mechanism, when this bicarbonate is filtered, so NaHCO3 is converted to Na and bicarbonate. Okay, and here this H plus will be exchanged against this Na plus. This Na plus will be taken up by the plasma, bicarbonate is taken up by the plasma, and this H plus bind with this bicarbonate to form H2CO3, and with the carbonic anhydrase it is converted to CO2 and H2O, which is taken up by the proximal coagulated tubule cell. And this mechanism, okay, by this our bicarbonate is reabsorbed. Okay, so as we know, bicarbonate is very important against the acid condition. So whenever there is an increased acidity, and it can change the charge of the ions, of the enzymes, of the proteins. That's why our body will reabsorb the bicarbonate. Now, third mechanism. Now you have to remember it is in the distal convoluted tubule and collecting dung. So here, what will happen? This Na2HCO4 disodium hydrogen phosphate, it will be filtered here. It is converted to Na and NaHCO4. This NaHCO4 binds with the H plus, that is released via this same mechanism here, and this H plus plus NaH, it will be converted to NaH2PO4. pH is around 5.4 and it is excreted. This is why urine is acidic. Urine is acidic because it will be bind with the H plus and form NaH2PO4, it will form acidic, and so that extra acid is excreted. So how this renal renal mechanism will excrete the acidic acid, okay, and it is taking place in the distal convoluted tubules. And the last mechanism here from the plasma, okay, as you know, glutamine is a transport form of the iron. It is made up of glutamic acid plus ammonia. So glutamine from plasma, it will come to the distal convoluted tubule. It is converted to glutamic acid and ammonia by the enzyme called glutaminase that is present in the kidney. Now this NH3 will be go to the tubular lumen, and NH3 along with the H plus, it will form NH4. Okay, so H plus is trapped along with the ammonia and NH4 is excreted. This is how this H plus, and there will be excretion of H plus and reabsorption of the bicarbonate. And this is the renal mechanism of the kidney. So we have seen in this lecture about the pH, that is negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration. We have seen about the acid. We have seen about the base. Acid as a property for rotating the proton. Base will accept the protons. Okay, or base will release the OH. Acid will release the H+. We have also seen about the Anderson-Hasselbalch equation. It will be very helpful in the next lecture also. Okay, where pH is equal to pKa plus log of base upon acid, right? We have also seen about the buffer system, okay, which will resist change in the pH. And we have seen the defense mechanism. First is the blood buffer like bicarbonate buffer, okay, then phosphate buffer, all right, and protein buffer, which will act immediately. Then we have seen the respiratory regulation. What will happen at the tissue level and what will happen at the lung level, we have seen. And whenever there is a acidosis, then it will be hyperventilation. Whenever there is alkalosis, there is a hypoventilation, right? So this is how respiratory. Then we have seen about the renal mechanism. Where there is four mechanisms. One is excretion of H plus ions. We have seen that H2O plus CO2, H2CO3 will convert to H plus, and bicarbonate H plus will be exchanged along with the sodium, and H plus is excreted. And second is bicarbonate reabsorption. Okay, so this bicarbonate which is filtered in the tubular lumen bind with this H plus by the same mechanism here, and H plus plus CO3 will form H2CO3, which is broken down to CO2 and H2O, and they will be taken up by the PCT. These two mechanisms are taking place in the proximal convoluted tubule. Next two mechanism is taking place in the distal convoluted tubule and collecting dung. So in third mechanism, there is the excretion of acid, NaH2PO4. Okay, so Na2HPO4 is broken down to Na and NaHPO4. This Na is exchanged along with the H plus ion, and H plus NaHPO4, it will form NaH2PO4. It will excrete in the urine, that's why urine is acidic. And fourth mechanism is ammonia by the glutaminase enzyme. It is converted, glutamine is converted to glutamic acid and ammonia. This ammonia is going to the tubular lumen where it binds with the H plus, right? And it is from the excretion of H plus as the NH4. This is how renal regulation, separately renal regulation is asked in your exam, and this first line, second line, and third line defect is asked in your exam. So I hope you like this video and you understand the basic concept of the acid-base balance. In the next lecture, I will be talking about the metabolic acidosis, metabolic alkalosis, respiratory acidosis, respiratory alkalosis, and anion. And then we will discuss about the case-based discussion of the arterial blood gas analysis. Okay, so I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please hit the like button, share my video, subscribe to my channel, and press the bell icon so that you can get notification for my future video also. Thank you very much.